The lights of Los Angeles burned bright against the ink-black sky, and inside the famous El Capitan Theater, the audience hummed with anticipation. Tonight's guest on Jimmy Kimmel Live was none other than Keanu Reeves, the enigmatic, quietly beloved star known for his blockbuster action flicks and an almost mythical kindness in real life. What no one expected, not the audience, not the producers, and certainly not Jimmy Kimmel himself, was that by the end of the night, Keanu would be forcibly asked to leave the show after a confrontation no one saw coming. And yet, it would become one of the most beautiful moments in late-night history. Keanu arrived at the studio like he always did. No entourage, no designer suit, just a black t-shirt, well-worn jeans, and that quiet, almost apologetic smile. As he stepped out of his modest motorcycle, a teenage fan named Elijah, waiting by the back in trance, nervously held out a crumpled notebook. "Mr. Reeves," the boy stammered, his voice cracking. Would you sign this for my sister? She's sick, she loves you." Keanu paused. There was something raw and desperate in the boy's eyes. "Of course," Keanu said softly, kneeling slightly to be eye level with him. "What's her name?" "Lila," Elijah whispered. Keanu scribbled a note in the notebook. Then, impulsively, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a worn silver ring. A simple band, nothing flashy. "Give this to Lila. Tell her I'm sending her good thoughts," he said, closing the boy's trembling hand around it. Before Elijah could even thank him, a studio handler called Keanu inside. The show was already running behind. Inside the studio, the energy was different. Maybe it was the jokes written at Keanu's expense in the opening monologue. Or maybe it was the way the producers had tried to push him into a silly, viral stunt that felt, to him, painfully fake. Whatever it was, by the time Keanu took his seat opposite Jimmy under the bright, too hot lights, something was off. The interview started out friendly enough. The usual chatter about John Wick 6, motorcycles, and Keanu's refusal to join social media. But then Jimmy, perhaps chasing ratings, pivoted to a more biting tone. "You know, Keanu," Jimmy grinned, leaning forward, "people always say you're too nice. Like, weirdly nice. Some folks think it's just an act. No one's that good, right?" The audience chuckled. The band played a mock dramatic sting. Keanu smiled politely, his foot tapping beneath the desk. "Kindness isn't an act," he replied quietly. "It's a choice. And it's free." Jimmy laughed, sensing a moment to push further. "Come on, man. Be real. You mean to tell me you've never wanted to tell someone off? Never let the Hollywood ego get to you?" And that's when it happened. Keanu's expression didn't harden, but his voice grew steady. "I saw a kid outside the studio just now. His sister's in the hospital. You don't know what someone's carrying, Jimmy. Not every battle's visible." There was a beat of silence. A nervous producer hissed through a headset. Jimmy, perhaps uncomfortable with where this was going, tried to laugh it off. "Well, all right, Mr. St. Reeves. Didn't mean to hit a nerve." But Keanu wasn't done. "I'm just saying, maybe we use these stages, these shows, for something better. A little light, not just laughs." The audience clapped softly. It wasn't the raucous, rehearsed laughter the producers liked. It was something gentler. And then, in the most surreal moment of late-night television history, a visibly flustered stage manager approached Jimmy on air, whispering something. A decision was made. The show cut to commercial, and when the cameras came back, Keanu's seat was empty. Jimmy mumbled about technical difficulties and moved on to the next guest. It should have ended there. Another awkward Hollywood incident swept under the rug. But then something unexpected happened. The next morning, the clip of Keanu's quiet stance circulated online, not because it was scandalous, but because it was real. People shared stories of times a stranger's kindness saved them in small, unseen ways. Hashtag #BeKindLikeKeanu trended worldwide. Elijah posted a video of his sister, Lila, in a hospital bed, smiling weakly, clutching the silver ring like a talisman. "She says it's her lucky charm now," Elijah wrote. Even Jimmy, perhaps reflecting in the soft glow of dawn, issued a heartfelt apology on his show the next night. Keanu was right, he admitted. We could all use a little more light. In the weeks that followed, donations quietly poured into pediatric hospitals in Keanu's name. Talk show hosts paused their monologues to highlight acts of everyday kindness. Strangers left notes on park benches, on cafe napkins, on subway walls. You don't know what someone's carrying. Be kind. And as for Keanu, he never addressed the incident. He was seen riding his motorcycle up the coast, stopping at diners and gas stations, offering small kindnesses that, in time, would ripple into someone else's life. Because that's the thing about kindness. It isn't loud. It doesn't chase cameras. It slips a silver ring into a trembling hand and reminds you, in the darkest moments, that you are seen. And sometimes, it takes getting kicked off a talk show for the world to remember that.